I hate when Boston wins.
The Celtics are the worst winning franchise in sports.
Ever.
I have a theory.
Out of all the winning franchises, the Celtics are the worst.
I think so too.
We're talking about the Yankees, the Patriots,
the Dodgers.
You can even put the Bulls in there. I would say they're relatively.
The Lakers. I think Lakers are like one of those ones that everybody.
The Lakers are the best winning franchise in sports. They win consistently. They're the Patriots.
They win every decade.
They win every decade, exactly. But anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with episode 8 of HoopTalk, the podcast. We are here at the Camden Orange Court, downtown Orlando. Big shout out to my dog Kiara for hooking us up with the spot.
Shout out Orlando as well.
We got a brand new setup today. You guys are going to see a lot of new prompts, a lot of new things going on that we're trying out. Just trying to figure out what we want to do going forward and keep it consistent. Hopefully, we like it. Hopefully, you guys like it. Let us know what you think in the comments, and let's go ahead and let's get it going, man. It's your boy, HoopTalk Nas, as always, and I'm joined by the same usual suspects. I got TyDolla to my left.
Type shit.
Oh, God. And at the other end of the couch, we got our dog, Pluto, a.k.a. Orlando, or Orlando, a.k.a. Pluto. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into it, man. Let's check it up. Let's hoop talk. Like we always like to get started with our out-of-bounds question of the week. Pluto, let us know what it is, man.
All right. So the out-of-bounds question of the week is, where would you start an NBA expansion franchise and why? It could be in the States, out the States. Your dream. Who wants to go first?
I feel like we should make Seattle out of bounds. Like, I feel like we should not do Seattle.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because there's already been a team there.
Yeah, that's not, we're not reviving things.
What do we think?
So it has to be something that hasn't been in the league?
Yeah.
Are you going first? Am I going first?
Yeah, go ahead. You can go first.
Oh, damn. Damn, Seattle was going to be my answer. That sucks.
Why would you?
It's too...
Who doesn't want Seattle back? Like the colorways were great. The history was great. You got Gary Payton. You got Sean Kemp, Kevin Durant.
But I think the thing is, everyone agrees that we want Seattle back. Like, nobody disagrees.
All right, well,
that's like a consensus.
If we had to go based off of personal preference, I'd say another team in Florida would be dope. Florida has a lot of places that they could definitely have a dope team. I think Jacksonville and Tampa will probably be the easiest bets.
Yeah, for sure.
If we're looking out of state, though, Vegas would definitely be the team that I feel like makes the most sense.
Took mine.
Yeah, Vegas. I feel like just it's sports embodied. You know what I mean? Like all the sports betting and all the whatever goes on over there in the underground too. But they got a lot going on when it comes to sports. They just recently, a few years ago, moved a team to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
To NFL.
NFL.
It was not too long ago. It was a few years ago. So I feel like basketball is next up. LeBron's been hinting at it. He would like to own a team, and I don't know if the rumors were that he wanted to go or if he said he wanted to do Vegas.
Yeah.
Or was that just a rumor that?
It was a rumor because they're looking at two places.
But he didn't
Vegas
say he don't want to do Vegas. He just said he wants to do a team.
He
right?
just wants to have a
okay. Yeah, I think Vegas is the clear-cut choice. What was the other part of the question? It was location and what?
Yeah, we didn't add it up there.
Oh.
Like, what position would you start your team with?
What player?
What position?
What position? I mean, I guess if I had the luxury of choosing, I'd probably go with a big man.
Okay.
Probably
What's
if I had the
your
luxury.
offense?
What's my offense?
Yeah.
That's tough. My offense is outdated. I like the inside-out basketball.
Yeah.
I like the 4-out 1-in method.
Okay.
I like the 4-out 1-in method, which is a bit outdated because we don't really have true fives. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I like the. I'm a huge. We've been through it already. I'm a huge Dwight Howard fan, so
that's why I did that.
yeah. But a lot of teams do it. I mean, you got Jokic. That's a 4-out 1-in method for the most part. I think. No, I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, I like the 4-out 1-in method.
Yeah.
So I would like to go for a solid big man, but it's a bit outdated. So if I had to go with something recent, I guess I would probably like a Warriors style of basketball, like the small ball, pace and space type of style. I would go with that just to be more recent and keep up with the times. But if I had to choose, I'd probably prefer a 4-out 1-in, and I'd go for a center. Or if not, a point guard that could lead the way. But I probably would not start with any of the other three positions.
Yeah.
For me, I'm torn between two places, either Kansas City, because of their recent success with like football and everything, it's become a bigger market.
Their baseball team's not bad either.
H&R Block, shout out,
Okay.
the vibes.
Okay.
The other place that I would look at would probably be Pittsburgh, because Philly is just cursed. I don't think anything is going to happen with Philly in a little while, so Pennsylvania needs a better team.
Yeah.
And I think Pittsburgh already having a hockey team, football, baseball,
Yeah, solid. Solid.
go to Pittsburgh. I'd draft a point guard first if I could.
Oh.
But realistically, I think my options would be picking like Bradley Beal or something, because it's expansion.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, go with Bradley Beal probably first.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Wait, what do you
I don't
mean?
think they'll give up Bradley Beal.
Because
bro.
expansion draft.
Oh, is that what you meant by the question?
No.
Oh, okay,
Just
okay.
same
Oh,
position.
Oh, then I'm picking a point guard. 100%.
okay. I see. I was scared. I was like, yeah, I do not want to pick any of the guys that would be dropped.
The type of point guard I'd pick is Topic, actually, in the draft. Okay. Someone who can like penetrate very well. He's not a great shooter, but he's a great passer. He can disrupt things, and I think that's perfect.
Okay.
Oh yeah, if we're going with this draft, I'm going with Sar for sure.
Okay.
I think he fits the pace and space movement a little bit, and he's not really small ball, but he fits that movement according to the hype and the highlights.
Okay.
And he might not even go number one anymore.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that, though.
They did the mock draft today. I saw that.
Yeah.
For me, man, I'm surprised you guys didn't go out of state, out the country, because I would definitely do like a London type of vibe. They don't really, they have all those teams out there, Barcelona.
They didn't even consider that.
Yeah, shout out to the country.
I just thought travel would be so hard.
I mean, yeah, but it's the NBA. They're gonna make it work.
True.
It's the NBA. They're gonna make it work. And on top of that, like the NFL does it. 6 games out of their like 17 week schedule, they do it. So they got way more money than the NFL.
And at best, you would only have to do it 4 times a year. At best.
Every team, yeah.
And
Unless
that's some
it's like
teams.
a finals game.
If you're going-
That's gonna be dope.
If you're going opposite conference, then you only got to do it twice.
Yeah,
I have a question for this after you're done, though.
yeah. The finals games will be hard to watch.
Why?
They would have to play like midnight over there for us to watch.
Oh, true. Oh, the time difference would be a problem. Yeah, I just
They'd
thought about
probably be
that.
playing at 3 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be tough.
But that would definitely be like Paris or London. I think that's pretty dope. I mean, when I'm talking, this is all this is all just hypotheticals. But the player I would start with also would be a shooting guard, and a scoring shooting guard at that. Someone who can get to the basket, hit threes, pretty much like kind of like a combo threat, and can guard up a little bit, or at least learn how to guard up in the future.
Like a Bradley Beal?
More like a Kobe, Michael Jordan. I feel like the reason I say that, I feel like when you have a dog, that kind of translates to what you got to bring around him. You can't bring around no one saw, so then you got a hard-nosed team. So I would say like a shooting guard like that. And if I was going to say a specific city, I think I'd pick London over Paris. The only reason I pick Paris is because it's France, and France is like, I would think, right up there with one of the biggest basketball countries in the world. So yeah, that's fine. I think it's kind of chill.
I like it. So we got Vegas. You said Kansas City.
Yeah,
Right,
I like
what
that
you
Kansas City one.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Pittsburgh's nice too, though.
Yeah, I
You
hate
said-
Pennsylvania.
Did you say Paris or London?
I'm gonna go London.
London.
Yeah. I think
I like it.
What city like?
The French Revolution is really taking over, so Paris wouldn't be a bad idea either. For sure.
That's true.
And we got three different roster spots for us. We got a center, we have a shooting guard, and a point guard.
And I already know Wemby, as soon as he's a free agent, he's gonna want to go back home.
Oh, facts.
And Sar.
Man.
Facts.
Yeah.
I like it. But to get started with our topics of the day, a lot has been going on since the last time we were able to record an episode. First and foremost, the Boston Celtics have won the 2024 NBA championship. And there's a lot of things to discuss when it comes to that championship. A lot happened within the team, and the media has a lot of different things that they have been throwing out there. But I'll throw one of my topics out there first, and you guys can go with whatever you guys also thought of when it comes to the topic. But one thing that I noticed, and I didn't really notice it until somebody said it out loud. I realized, I kind of noticed that, but I didn't really was focused enough to really think this was a thing.
Wasn't
But
that interesting later?
yeah, but then now that somebody said it out loud, I was like, oh, interesting. That is weird. But Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP, right? And the first interview after they presented the award was Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Which is super weird to me. Yeah. Because it's I think Gilbert Arenas brought it up today when I was watching the podcast, which is super weird. He called it was classless. Because it's I can't, he said the same. Well, he didn't say this part, but I can't guarantee that they did that on purpose. But the way Gilbert Arenas kind of explained it is like it's classless in the sense of why are you trying to create this ripple in this situation? Like if you presented the award to Jaylen Brown, why don't you immediately interview Jaylen Brown or interview them together if it's that important? But why did you get the interview to Jason Tatum immediately after? You know what I mean? I think it's I feel like it was trying to catch him in the moment type of thing, which I agree was a little classless. If that is truly their intention. Now, it could have just been a coincidence. Could have just been part of the script. You know what I mean? Like, they already intended to interview him regardless of what happened. It could also be that maybe they had the idea that Jason Tatum was going to win. You know what I mean? And it was already part of...
think that.
I think it was already part of their plan. So it could be a lot of things, man. But I thought it was a little weird. Hopefully there was no ill intent there. But it is the media. So ill intent is usually the case.
And I think... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think when it comes to Boston, they're so vilified as well, where everyone looks for any opportunity. And I'm not a Boston fan. Like I've never really liked Boston as a team, but they're used to create so many negative headlines about their team, no matter how well they're performing. Like this team, any one of the four players could have realistically been Finals MVP, but they made it such a thing that it was Jaylen Brown versus Jason Tatum, and they're going to continue doing that because it gets clicks.
Yeah,
it's lame though.
It's not gonna die. I think that's the one thing I can agree with you, Tyler. I think it's time to kind of end that. They're a duo. They're the combo package. But the one thing I will say is, I mean, who was the interviewee? Was it Doris Burke?
I don't remember. I think so. I believe so.
She loves Tatum. Yeah,
That's the thing. I heard a rumor that
I could be wrong though. I don't know.
She was one of the only people who voted for Jason Tatum to win the MVP. So I mean, it all kind of trickles in. She could probably gone on her lone wolf self and got him, or her and Jaylen Brown might not like each other. We don't know about it. Like Jaylen Brown could turn down the interview. You know, like you said, there's a lot of things that could happen. I do feel like a lot of those moments were forced, and I think that when I watched, I feel like I can agree with you guys, and kind of like Gilbert. I feel like Jaylen Brown's more of their voice. Like he's the one who keeps them in line. He's kind of like the more stoic guy. So I feel like what he would say would be not taken away from Tatum, but just would have been a lot more meaningful. Because he's never had this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? We've heard Jason Tatum speak before and do his thing, but we don't get to hear him a lot. And when we do, it's always like we said, like anti-Jaylen Brown, like they hate him. So anti-Jason Tatum, like they hate him so much. And I could agree with you. I think we all can agree that it was a little bit distasteful.
Yeah. He's a dog, don't get me wrong. He arguably is the best player on the team. But in this specific series, in this playoff run, it was Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
It was voted on by majority of the people, so you have to acknowledge that and you have to move forward. And it's not like Jaylen Brown doesn't get clicks. It's not like Jaylen Brown isn't this person you could talk about. Yeah. They just want to use it in a specific way to continue that rift.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, though. Why was it Jaylen Brown for Finals MVP?
He deserved it.
I agree.
They did not. This playoff run, the identification of this team was not Jason
Finals MVP, though. Finals MVP only.
I'm saying the whole playoffs.
Right, but the Finals MVP though. The question is the Finals MVP.
I think
what he did in the playoffs doesn't matter. Now it's a 7-game series.
Still, they embodied him. That first game, he set the tone. 2 steals. He locked up Luka. Did not let him shoot. He set the tone.
But it was 5-game series though.
5-game series, but it's like he set the tone.
Who
he
had
was the best defender that game, arguably?
Who had the most amount of worst games though, consistently? I think if you look back at it, Jaylen Brown had 3 games that were better than Jason Tatum.
How is that even possible if Jason Tatum's numbers were overall better, except in one category?
Which was?
Field goal percentage.
Which
the difference wasn't that big either. That's the thing. If you're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, that's one that I could always understand because his efficiency was much higher than Jason Tatum, even though I disagree with it regardless, but I can understand that one. I personally don't understand this one. He shot 44%. That's an average field goal percentage. Jason Tatum shot 39, which is not that far off.
Let me give him the Kawhi treatment. He guarded the best player on the floor and still averaged damn near the same amount of points as the best player on the team.
The player who averaged triple-double.
Who, Jason Tatum?
But like you said earlier, though, that's being a little facetious because earlier you said that he was playing just like he normally was.
Yeah, he was guarding the best player on the
Yeah, exactly. So what was the difference maker there?
But I don't think that Luka was playing the same way. I think Luka efficiently was playing worse. He had more turnovers, more fouls.
You also said it was because of his injury, though. So now it's because of Jaylen Brown?
I think it was mostly because of Jaylen Brown.
We can't. I don't think that you can hold Jaylen Brown accountable for the injury of Luka Doncic. He played him. He played exactly what was in front of him. He stopped him from playing the way that Luka normally does. Whether that was his injury or not, he consistently defended their arguably best player, their creator, and he stopped him from creating the way that he normally does. And I don't think it's an Iggy situation because he also scored efficiently as well.
Yeah.
And he put up numbers. He was their secondary scorer. Some games he was consistent the first. So I think if you add those together with the fact that also his impact, he was setting the tone immediately right out the gates, I think that's why he won it. I don't think this is an issue where either one of them winning it would have killed anybody.
Yeah.
They both played very well. They both played very similar efficiency and impact-wise. But I think overall, the entire series, Jaylen Brown was a little bit better on both sides of the floor.
And kind of put a cherry on top of all that, I mean, who else guarded Luka better than, like, Lou Dort? I think you could say arguably Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm gonna throw even a wrench in this. Drew Holiday arguably could have been in contention. It's just the first time where I was watching the finals and I didn't really know. I didn't have I had a consensus pick, which we all did. You know, like 2 podcasts ago with Jaylen Brown. That was my consensus pick. But like at the same time, bro, when you look at that finals, bro, it could have went either way. If Drew Holiday would have had one better game, who knows? He could have won it. Like it was
Team
up
stacked.
for grabs. That team. And I hate to say it because when you I don't want to switch subjects. I mean, we're talking about the finals, right? When we talk about like top finals teams ever, I don't think this year was just different, bro. This year was a different year. They were dominant from like beginning to end, and I've never seen that in my lifetime. Because the Boston Celtics, they were a great team, the original, the 08 team, but they still went 7 games, 6 games. You know what I'm saying? Even the Heat team, 6 games, 7 games. I think didn't they go 6 against Oklahoma?
You know, I get it. I 100% get it. I consider myself an open-minded basketball fan. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I have closed-minded opinions when it comes to some of the players that I prefer, but it's not too often that I'm not willing to understand, you know, a certain perspective. But I don't agree with the perspective that they were dominant because they're not playing teams that should be hard to dominate. That's the problem that I see.
The thing is crazy, bro. Like we will never know, and that's I gotta give him that bar.
Yeah, that's
true.
That is a fact.
But
Like-
they dominated everyone in front of them, and that's all they can do. So in this season, I do think it's fair to say that they're dominant.
That's
In this
that
season.
is true. I've always want to be able to understand that there is context to everything. Like I feel
Exactly.
like you got to be able to provide the context. But anyway,
So-
go.
But
But
go
this
ahead.
is going to be the hottest take I probably ever have.
Okay.
If the Celtics don't win the 08 championship, I don't think we ever get Obama as president. Because I don't think he runs on the change platform.
All right.
Because he needed to change something once we saw the Celtics won.
All right.
The Celtics winning were the final touch.
But on to the Celtics though, and you know the recency bias is a thing though. Like I feel like this generation is so talented. You know, like if you think about it, even far back, if you go to 2008 Celtics, you know what I mean? Like they won a championship, we thought it was a phenomenal thing.
They're
And
the
then
first official Big Three.
never happened again. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, and then you got the Nuggets. The Nuggets were the favorite the whole year. It was like, oh, who's going to beat Jokic? Who's going to beat them? They're built too
Celtics were the
perfectly.
favorite the whole year.
Yeah, but like people did have the Nuggets winning
Like,
regardless.
are you
Like,
I did. I
popularity
absolutely-
vote?
yeah, like the
Las
Nuggets.
Vegas Celtics all the way.
No,
Yeah.
when it comes to people were
I thought the
definitely
Nuggets are gonna win.
yeah, people definitely had Denver winning a championship. I
That's-
had Denver winning a championship,
That's the
but
finals I wanted.
that's what I'm saying. Recency bias. In this generation, we've had a different champion every year since 2019. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's and that's 5-6 years
Yeah.
of championships.
There's
for
no
it?
domination anymore.
Yeah,
And I
there's
think
no-
to kind of even double down on what you're saying, Nas, I miss competitive basketball. I think we've already talked about it on the podcast. It's no longer there, bro. It's like everybody's friend. Like nobody wants to step on. That's why I appreciate players like Draymond. I appreciate players like Marcus Smart. They make tension. They give us entertainment. They're the WWE superstars of Dylan Brooks. Like I don't know, bro. When that stuff happens like that in the NBA, when people are actually don't like each other and they want to go actually beat the other guy, like on some not gladiator, but you know what I'm saying, just old fashioned, basketball where I don't like you, you don't like me. I want to win. I want to get a bucket. And it's just I think that's why the climate is the way it is, just to help you out with that one. Because
Climate change is real.
Yeah.
But on to the Celtics, a couple things to wrap up that topic. Drew Holiday, to me, is phenomenal. I actually was curious, can you guys really, like, if you had to rank him when it comes to, and I'll try to explain this where it makes sense, like impact makers, like players who enter a team and it just completely changes the identity of that team. Like, I feel like in this current generation, if you talk about like the last 10 to 15 years of basketball, like I'd probably have to say like Drew Holiday might just be a top 5 impact player. Like when it comes to just, I come into a team and this team is championship material. You know what I mean? Like I come to a team and everything just changes here. The culture changes, how they play changes. Because if you think about what he did in New Orleans with Rondo, the impact was phenomenal there. You know what I mean? Like they were a legitimate threat to beat KD. I think it was the Thunder.
6, I think, right?
Yeah, they were a legitimate threat.
The Warriors.
Was it the Warriors? It was. I think
With
it was the
Twin
Warriors.
Towers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a legitimate.
Marcus Cousins and AD.
They were a legitimate threat to beat the Warriors that year. You look at what he did in Milwaukee, first year championship. You know what I mean? You look, comes to Celtics, first year championship, and you can talk about what all these other guys did, but like he is the difference maker at the end of the day. Like Brown is the same player he was last year. Tatum, arguably, was a lesser player than he was last year.
More effective this year though.
In the playoffs, that is correct. Yeah, in the playoffs, he shitted the bed last year for sure.
Yeah.
But,
I agree with you on that one.
But like Drew Holiday, he has to be top 5 impact players, and not even going for the obvious choices. But like you could argue, there's superstars in the league that don't impact a team the way that he does. Kevin Durant probably doesn't impact a team the way that he does.
He reminds me of Draymond with his level of impact. He really does.
I'm going to put him in a class that's kind of weird. I'm going to put him in that Ben Wallace, Dennis Rodman, Draymond Green. He doesn't have, they don't have a specific play style, but when they're on the court, bro, they're on the court. And the thing that I like about Drew, and I'm sorry, Tyler, for cutting off, I did. The thing I like about Drew is that, bro, when he's on the court, them guys, even Jason Tatum hates playing defense. He's got the boys ready, active. Even Kristaps Porzingis, he's got the boys active, ready to go, bro. He's the head of the snake, bro, on defense.
I don't know about that Jason Tatum part, though.
I don't think he's a good defender. I don't think he's a great defender. But I want to do that right now. I want to do that.
You clearly do want to do it because you said it.
I'm not beefing with you and Jason Tatum. I'm good. I don't want no beef.
Jason Tatum is a great defender. No.
I'm giving Jason Tatum easily a B+ on defense. Easily.
I'm giving him a C+.
Yeah, it's not.
Honestly, you guys are. I was gonna give him an A. I really do think Jason Tatum is that good.
I think he's a B+. I think Jaylen Brown is like an A-, and I think players like Drew are A+.
Yeah. He's above this guy. He's like 100%.
He's like an S rank.
Yeah,
he's like an S rank mission for Naruto.
we're in like fighting games.
To really back in, just to finish off with the Celtics, my last thing that I thought was a good discussion or a good topic of discussion was the Mavericks. Really, I mean, simple, straightforward. Like, are the Mavericks pretenders or contenders? Are they able to repeat this next year, or is this just a one? Are they what was that called? A one-hit wonder?
I don't think they ever had the roster to actually win against the Celtics.
Yeah, but could they make a conference finals run again? Do they have the ability to do
stipulations to that? Like what we think should happen for them to get back?
Well, before we say that, they removed Mark Cuban altogether 100% from the decision-making right now.
Really?
So there's hope that they spend more money in the luxury tax, which I think is...
Wait. I thought he had still control over basketball affairs.
He did. He had the decision-making, but he had no stake at all in ownership.
So the owners kicked him out, pretty much?
Yeah, this year. Nico Harrison.
Wow. It's big.
Yeah.
That's big. That's really
So
big.
do we think that they'll spend more money on the team? Because that's always been the thing with Mark Cuban. They never went into the luxury tax.
Yeah.
Do we think that there's a possibility now they spend more money to create that roster? I think that it's likely. This is an ex-Nike exec that's making the changes.
But to get what specifically, though? To get role players like that? To get expensive role players or to get stars?
They don't not need to mess with their centers.
I don't think they need a star.
No.
That's what I'm saying, but that's my point. What are they going to spend money on? Are they going to spend money on stars? Does this lady know anything about basketball? Right? So Mark Cuban doesn't spend money because he understands basketball takes more than just stars. Right?
He and Luka.
He may not have a bunch of championships to show for it, but he has a lot of playoff success to show for it. And maybe a little extra money could have led to an extra championship or two.
Yeah.
Maybe. But is this Nike exec gonna, have the brains to say, no, give me this player? You know what I mean? Like, is she just gonna go aim for Paul George, aim for
Nico.
And the thing
that was a lady.
Nico Harrison's a guy.
Who am I thinking of then? Either way, it doesn't matter. Either way,
I think one thing that can help them out is if they get an actual defender. Someone who is, because Kyrie tried to kind of fill that role. I don't know if y'all kind of saw that. He was trying to be the best defender. He was guarding Jason.
That's all they did in the trade deadline. What you mean? They specifically went out to get defenders.
Yeah, but PJ Washington's not known as a ball stopper. He's not my ball stopper. I'm talking about like a Marcus Smart. I'm talking about someone who can grab a perimeter player and lock him up. I mean, this is one thing I'm thinking. Paul George could be a good fit, but he also dribbles the shit out the ball.
Am I like the only one that disagrees with this take? Do you like what?
No, they don't have
PJ Washington's not a stopper.
He's not a stopper.
He was guarding Jason Tatum. It's not easy.
Their defenders that they got are great. PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr. They're all amazing.
I'm just saying they're not really impacting the other side of the court unless they're getting like a pull-up jump shot or alley-oop.
Right, but that has nothing to do with their defense.
But defensively, because even Dante Exum, and they barely even played him in the finals. Like they're defensively, I think they have some upgrades they can make. I think they need a point of attack defender.
That's what I'm saying.
But outside of that,
a primary ball. I mean, I understand that PJ Washington, Jason Tatum. Like I did watch that the first game. He was playing really good defense, but I mean, he was still getting his buckets. So I mean, what is he? You know what I'm saying? Like,
what player? He wasn't shooting well, right? And this is coming from Jason Tatum stand.
Yeah,
he wasn't shooting well. So like, of course, he's gonna get his buckets regardless.
He's a 6'10", lengthy ass shooter. Like you can't stop that guy.
I don't think defenders is what they should be looking for. The offensive players is what they should be looking for. They need a creator. Like they have
Paul George.
They have nobody. No, I'm thinking like a much lesser than that. I'm thinking like a 6-man type of guy. One would make sense.
I really do think, and
great sense.
I don't think people are like this, but they need a player like Kobe White. They need a player like Ao on the Bulls. Like the people.
Kobe White, that's a very similar impact.
They need someone that can shoot it well, and that's why I say Ao because I think Kobe's a little bit more expensive for them. I think they'd have to give up too much.
Yeah.
But the Bulls, they just got Giddey. They need to figure out what they're going to do with Ao. I think he's a perfect fit for them. He shot 40% from three. He's a great defender, and pass.
They need to get rid of Tim Hardaway. I think that needs to be already done.
Tim Hardaway is a terrorist.
Should be a free agent by now.
Yeah, no, they need to find a decent shooting guard. That's my thing. I think they should get a 3-and-D guy who's a specific, like, you can keep him on the court the whole time. Like, he's not a liability on offense or defense, and he doesn't disrupt their offense. Because their offense, maybe, but I don't think they're switching. They're not giving up. I don't think Oklahoma got Alex Caruso first. Well, let me stay on track. I will say this, bro. I think, like I said, I think they need a 3-and-D guy, and there's going to be a lot of that this and they can go trade for a guy. But I like Paul George. I really like Paul George. I think he's a great 3-point shooter, and I think if he needs to create, he can create.
They just have to give up so much to get him. They'd had majority
of
the
Paul George is too much.
Yeah, majority of the people that they got this offseason during the trade deadline, they'd have to remove him because he even said that he's going for a max contract still.
Oh, so
he said he's not in it to win championships, and you know what that means.
He's
going for a max.
But that's my point. If they're going to spend more money, they need to spend more money on expensive role players, not on stars.
So more like what the Celtics did.
I'm thinking of like an OG Anunoby, an upgrade at the small forward would be elite for them. I'm thinking but I'm just saying those are the type of players that they need to aim for. Jalen Johnson from the Hawks, if they're selling right now,
that's nice.
That's an ideal upgrade that they can use. Those are the type of players. They need expensive role players that are going to impact the floor on both sides. You know what I mean?
That's actually that Jalen Johnson would be perfect.
Yeah, he's a great player. He's a great 3-point shooter. He's an amazing athlete. He's an elite defender.
You look at every team. Every team has a Derek White just waiting. A Derek White that never got the opportunity.
Yeah.
You make that trade and these things happen. The Celtics, they did that. They took a risk.
We gotta have an episode about like just this offseason and like creating.
We will.
The offseason
just creating what the offseason map's going to be. Where a player like give
I've already planned it out, man.
That's
I
awesome.
got all my hot takes.
That's awesome.
But back to the original question though, like do we think the Mavs have the ability to make this happen?
They have the ability. They have the players to trade. They have the picks. So it's just about if they can make enough to come back because it's going to need to happen.
I don't think they do at all. I think there are a one-hit wonder. I don't think they have what it takes. As of right now, I think Luka Doncic's championship aspirations come at a much later point in his career. Not well. I'm not going to rephrase that. Like a couple of years from now. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to come now. I think he's going to have a couple more years of, second round conference finals type of finishes. I just don't think Luka is prepared to win championships.
How much better really could he get, though, on offense?
It's not offense that he needs to work on. He needs to work on his body, and he needs to work defensively.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how much better could he get?
He can get a lot
but
better.
But it's not about getting better, and that's what this young generation doesn't understand. It's not about getting better. It's not about adding to your bag. It's about understanding how to use your bag. I don't think Luka understands how to use his bag. He has all these skills and all these talents. That's what killed James Harden. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he just never really understood, like, I don't got to do it all. There's ways that I can make players better. Yeah. And that's what players like a Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul do.
LeBron,
when they're that ball dominant, LeBron James, when they're that ball dominant, they understand what can I do to make the players around me effective because I already know I can get mine. I understand I can go for 40 whenever I'm in the mood to go for 40. But I need to understand, like, how can I get one of my guys to score at least 20 once this series? You know what I mean? How can I get Timothy Mozgov involved? How can I make Tristan Thompson feel like he's an elite center when realistically he's trash? How can I make Matthew Dellavedova feel like he's the best point guard on the floor when in reality he's playing against Stephen Curry? How can I make my guys feel like they're the best? Luka Doncic doesn't do anything to make his teammates feel like they're the best. He's not putting an effort on defense. His playmaking is all volume passing. It's not playmaking. He just has the ball the entire possession.
Passing out of a blitz.
Yeah, he has the ball in his hands the entire possession. So you are the only one passing.
He makes the right pass though. Every time he makes the right pass. He doesn't really make a lot of bad passes. But you're right. He only passes out of double teams and blitzes, or that's really the only time he passes the ball.
But I don't think the issue was even Luka here anyway. I don't think he was making bad decisions. I don't think he's. I think the issue falls on Kyrie. Unfortunately, just falling off. He had a bad playoffs.
I think it's both. I don't think there's a player. I don't think there's a player on the Mavericks who did their best to win that series, and that includes Luka. I think Luka could have done better, especially in that last game.
What about coaching?
I think Jason Kidd could have done better. I think Jason Kidd is a big reason why this Luka Doncic does the things that he does. Jason Kidd has to hold him accountable. Like, you got to be a man. Like stand up to this dude. I don't care who you are. I don't care that you're the franchise tag. You know what I mean? Like, wake up, bro. Like, every single time somebody breathes the wrong way, you're gonna yell and complain about a foul. Yeah. Like,
but Joe Mazzulla, he cooks those. He goes to them. He talks a specific way, and everyone listens to him. I don't think Jason Kidd has it. I don't think Jason Kidd is that type of coach.
Yeah, I mean, he never realistically was that type of player either. You know what I mean? So
he was a good defender, right?
Amazing.
No, but he wasn't like the vocal part of the team.
Oh, that wasn't his game. Even on that Dallas team that won, he wasn't really him. It was more like the Jason Terrys of the world. Yeah. Oh, that sounds like Stephen A. Let me not say that. But like Jason Terry, it was more of a team-led team. Jerry Stack. Oh, Jerry Stack.
Yeah, that's why you need a Sean Barry, for example.
I don't think you're wrong with your saying. Your statement is true. Culture builders are necessary. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't throw CP3 in there because he's never won a championship. But I do think he can turn around a franchise. He turned around the Oklahoma City, and they haven't looked back since.
But to circle it back, do the Mavericks have a culture builder? That's what I'm saying.
Not yet.
No, they got a culture depleter, and that's what type of Luka player is. Right. Like, he can kill a culture. And we've all seen a scorer that does it. A really good player who's like, it's kind of centered around him and doesn't really work.
And that's the thing about winner is that's one thing that I be trying to help people understand. Like, you have to be able to understand what is you have to be open minded and understand what is good and what is not. They might go into that locker room and believe that they have built a culture there, but that's okay. We get it. You have built a type of culture. You have to be able to accept, is this a winning culture for real?
That's for
like, we have a culture. You know, from our point of view, we have a culture. We love each other. We're all friends. We're buddy. You know, we go out to eat. You know, we hold each other accountable. What exactly are you doing to win, though? Like, what is this culture helping you do to win? You know what I mean? Like, you got Kobe and Gasol. They built a culture in Los Angeles.
Even the stand, help you out even more. Like, when I say culture, bro, culture's the things that you got to sacrifice to win. And I think that one of the perfect examples of that's the most transparent, is the Heat culture. You might not play this series. You might play the next one, but you might not play this series. You got to be able to give up certain things of yourself as a basketball player, which is your ego. And that's, I think, where Nas is going at. It's an ego thing, bro. It's
I'm going to take 32 shots and we're going to die on that. And that's what happened this finals with Luka. Like, and Nick, you said it's depleting. And it's sad because when I look at basketball, that's what basketball is now. It's an ISO game. It's literally not, reverted back to an ISO game, but instead of with the big man, it's with the guards now. It's kind of just as ugly and stale.
Like a winning culture is when your role players have the balls to stand up to the stars. A winning culture is when your coach has the balls to stand up to the star.
And the star doesn't get hurt by it.
Exactly.
Like,
like when Mario Chalmers yells at LeBron James, that's a culture. That's a we're going to win. And I don't care who you are, you're not guarding
What
up.
did he say? I know you know what he said.
Called it.
Bitch, you play defense.
Exactly. Like, you're not playing defense the right way. Like wake up, stop acting like a B. You know what I mean? So
but how many teams are like that right now in the NBA?
The winners. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole point.
I don't think it's a lot of the winners, though. I don't think last season.
What winning team doesn't have that in them? That culture of I'm gonna hold you accountable.
Even like OKC.
You don't think the Bucks have that accountability?
I think that's the issue with the Bucks right now. I don't think
so. I think the players do got too much control over there.
Nah, I disagree. I think they did have the accountability.
They literally fired a coach who was winning 32 games because they did not like him.
Well, maybe the front office wasn't the best part of that culture, but like amongst the players, the coaching staff, and all that, why wouldn't you say that they didn't have a culture? Like, especially just adding Drew Holiday to the equation, like.
We're talking pre-Drew Holiday. I'm talking about
championship Drew Holiday. That's what I'm
talking
about.
I'm talking about 2021 to when they win to now altogether, like all of it.
That culture left when Drew left.
I don't think
that's going to help you out in the podcast because that's what you're talking about. What kind of players are cultures?
Yeah,
I think the culture of being a great defender. The word, and I hear coaches say it, is taking responsibility of the guy you're guarding. Being able to say, I'm going to sit here, and even if he scores 25, I'm going to make it. This is going to be the hardest 25 he's ever going to score in his life.
But I'm confused with that team. Who was sacrificing?
Drew Holiday.
I don't think Drew Holiday was.
I
think that's Drew Holiday's play style. I don't think Chris Middleton ever sacrificed.
Brooke Lopez definitely did.
Everybody on that team could be a superior player on another team.
Brooke Lopez was actually
Chris Middleton would be a far better player on a different team. Right, Drew Holiday was already a far better player. Like in regards to, I guess you could say like his usage. I guess you could say
he
like
could
his
have
usage
handled
was
the
much
ball
higher.
more than what he was.
Yeah, he could handle the ball
Out
more.
of
He
the
could
last
take more
5 years,
shots.
it was highest on the Bucks team though.
What, like his usage rate or his
his
actual
usage.
shot attempts and everything? That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
Like,
usage is everything. It's passing.
well, I guess I'm referring to more like the emphasis
He's
on
their point guard, though. He was touching
how
the
he
ball.
impacts offensively, right, or how he impacts the actual maneuvering of how we play basketball. Like I just felt like Drew Holiday had to take a step back and say like I'm gonna be more of a role player. You know what I mean? Like the likelihood of me making an All-Star team is slim. I'm probably gonna crack it once, but I don't. That's gonna be me pushing it. Chris Middleton could have been a far better player on any other team. I've always been very high on Chris Middleton. And we know for a fact Brooke Lopez could be a far better team on any other team.
Brooke Lopez is the one to me that I think genuinely sacrificed on that team. If like statistically, if you look at if you just do it the simplest way and you look at stats, I don't see anybody really sacrificing anything to win that championship. I think that they kind of they figured everything out that one season. Everyone together just kind of clicked. They went against a Suns team that was inexperienced. They're very young.
Kind of like this Dallas team.
But even just being locked in on defense is a sacrifice. The what it takes to be that efficient on defensive end, you know what I mean? Like to be able to lock up at all positions, to be able to communicate. Even that's a sacrifice. Like,
at the time.
It's not always sacrifice from your statistical standpoint, but it's always a sacrifice of how hard are we going to work to make this happen. You know what I mean? Like how tired are we going to be every night? You know what I mean? And how much are we going to uplift each other? How much are we going to push past the fact that Chris Middleton just had a bad game and push him to have a better game next time? How many times are we going to tell Drew it's okay that he blew past you? You're the best defender on this team. Go guard him again. You know what I mean? Like that sacrifice isn't just about the statistical output, but it's also about like before we weren't playing like a winning team. What are we going to do to play like a winning team now? You know what I mean? Who's going to buy in? Who's not? If you're not going to buy in, get the hell out of here, right? And if we need more pieces, bring them in. PJ Tucker, all that kind of stuff.
Even Giannis sacrificed. Giannis, at one point, they were trying to make Giannis the closer, and then he kind of said, okay, I can't do this. And Chris Middleton became their closer. And we all know he's their closer. He's their best shot creator. Give or take, I think I don't know if him and Drew are a better shot creator.
I put that on Jason Kidd, though, because they stopped that once Bud came.
Yeah,
Jason Kidd was...
He was trying to make Giannis something he wasn't.
Jason Kidd was turning Giannis into a straight-up point guard. It wasn't working.
Yeah, it wasn't. But that's what they're doing with Luka. That's why he's where he's at. but kind of to even double down on what he's saying with everything. Drew Holiday is definitely a culture builder, and I think you can put him up there with Dennis Rodman, Ben Wallace, Draymond Green, the Tony Allens, people like
I'm
that.
up there with Pippen to me, impact-wise.
I think
I
he does
absolutely
everything
do
Pippen
think
did
so.
too. So yeah, I can give you that too. Like he was a rebounder, passer, and he can score the ball.
The
when
Bulls
he
don't
needs
win the championship without a star like Pippen on the side, and I
Every
personally,
team- every team
I
has a
do
player
think
like
that Drew Holiday at this point is a star,
Yeah.
at
I
least
agree.
impact-wise.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Defensively, he might be the best. I think now he might be one of the best defensive point guards too, ever.
It really
you
did.
can put him up there.
That one's tough because then you got Marcus Smart to think about. You have
He's
Caruso
a
to think
better
about.
defender than Marcus Smart.
Yeah, I don't think there's an argument to be had. You can put all the numbers you want to it, but I genuinely believe Drew Holiday is the best defensive point guard in the NBA.
Ever. I would say ever too. I put him in my top 5.
I wouldn't say that. No, I
He's
wouldn't
not
say
better
that.
than Gary Payton.
At point guard.
Yeah, Gary
I
Payne
think
was.
he's better than
I would
Gary
say Gary Payne was a better
I don't think
defender.
Gary Payne was dealing with the type of guards he was though.
Stupid Michael Jordan.
Bro, MJ.
It's like,
This man's guarding outside of his position. Like, literally, weight-wise, height-wise, and still locking stuff down.
Drew Holiday's 6'4". He's like 220. Like,
Yeah, he's a big
size is not an issue for him at all.
He reminds me of Lou Dort. Almost similar.
I didn't know he was 220. That's where you got me. 6'4". Everybody else is like 6'7", 6'8" that he's guarding. So that I'll give him. But I didn't know he was 220.
No, he's thick.
Damn. No homo.
He's thick as hell.
Pause.
I could definitely be wrong, but
He's
he's 205. He's 205.
That's
But also, that's not always updated, so we'll never know. In my
Yeah,
head,
it's
he's
not.
260. So
man. No.
Okay, well, I wouldn't say
I
all
would
that.
say him and Lou Dort are same body wise. Lou Dort definitely looks like an NFL player.
no,
No,
so
but-
they're not the same.
But size is not his issue whatsoever, so that's not really a
I think
thing.
his arms make up for a lot of it. I forgot he has really long arms.
I think he's got a 7-foot wingspan.
But ultimately, it comes down to Mavericks. I think we can agree that they are pretenders. I don't think they have what it takes.
I'll need to find out.
Oh, wait, I have to disagree.
I'll agree.
Oh, okay.
I just.
Well,
I
if
think
we, if we would
away.
stop changing the subject, we could find out what we all think.
Let me ask you a question. So I'm going to sit with this. Who do you think that they lose to in the West? That's the thing. Like, what changes are these teams going to make to where they just topple over such a young team like the Mavs with the possibility of developing?
I think OKC has the ability to be better. I think Denver has the ability to be better. Not as a team get better, but like I think they are a better team as it is right now. You know what I mean? Like I think they're smart enough to overcome what the Wolves did, and if they had to go up against Mavs, they can figure that out. And the Wolves, yeah, I mean they may have lost this time around, but I think they could beat the Mavericks if they had a second try at it. We already seen what they're capable of doing when they see that there's a threat in front of them, right? They did it last year. They saw who the threat was. It was Denver. So they invested everything they could in making sure we're not going to lose to them again. So once they see that Mavericks are a threat, there's going to be the same concept. So we're going to make sure that they're not a threat again.
Okay.
They don't got the
Real
money. to
quick,
do
last
that.
thing I promise, guys.
But it's not always about the adding players. It's also
Using
just about
players differently.
exactly using players differently.
The last thing before, again, I think they're a pretender. I do think that, but this is what can make them a contender. If they can find a way to sign and trade for Cat, I think that's a good pickup.
There's no
If they could, that's all I'm saying. I'm done. I'm out.
The Wolves would trade Rudy before they trade Cat.
Cat's a free agent, right? He's about to be, right?
No, I think he has two.
No, he
three
has at
years.
least
He just
two.
signed an extension.
Yeah, he
I
just
Oh,
signed
they're
an
trying to get
extension.
rid of him then. That's the
Yeah, they're trying to trade him.
Oh,
Well, that's
okay.
the rumors. There's no guarantee they're trying to do it, but that's what the people
I
say.
think those people are just trying to make it happen, but I don't think that would ever happen.
I don't, but
piece that fits. I'm sorry, guys.
I am a Karl Anthony Towns hater. I do not believe he turns anybody into a championship contender.
Okay.
That's my personal
All right,
opinion.
so contender or contender?
Oh, I think it's possible again for them.
Yeah, same.
I think that they did so well. I think that they can make some slight moves, get better, off-season candidates, and I think that they go. I don't know if they go back again because I think that
That's
there's.
the question. That's the question.
I do. Well, then no, yeah. I think I really do think it's the Wolves next year that end up making it.
Okay. I would say pretender.
So I will say pretender in that case, but I don't think that they're pretender.
So yeah. He's just saying more. Can they go back? That's pretty much the question, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much like
Next year
Whichever.
or within
Could
the
they-
next 3 years?
no next year. Can they do it again?
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, I can't say.
So they're
Not gonna happen.
next year. Or next
In the
year.
next 3
it's
years.
a one-hit wonder for this specific phase of their career,
sure,
but I
for
think
sure.
you give them 2 or 3 more years and they really figure it out. This is
I don't
all-
even think Kyrie will be part of that team that figures it out.
I don't think so.
me neither.
Yeah.
100%.
I
Kyrie's
think
not.
that's a change they have to make.
Yeah, Kyrie's gonna miss 50 games because there's some sort of conspiracy that he has to go
Oh
fight
man, you're a
again.
Kyrie hater too.
No, but either way,
Next topic.
that was an hour segment. Moving on to the next few segments should be pretty short, just because I imagine I'll be the ones to have the most to say about them. But Put Up or Shut Up just had their 12th season. Put Up or Shut Up is a local tournament hosted by TP, which we actually had him at one of our episodes.
What happened?
He was supposed to be our first guest, however, that did not work out, and we messed up a little bit of the recording there. I think it was audio, right? Audio issues?
Yeah, we only had 45 minutes of recording.
Yeah, so either way, TP hosts Put Up or Shut Up, or Pusu as they like to call it, and they just had their 12th season, a team by the name of God's Ninjas, which I'm sure we could all assume where the word ninjas is supposed to be.
Gotcha.
But to be politically correct, they changed it to Ninjas. But they won the tournament this year. I don't know if you guys had a chance. I don't know if you guys even looked at the notes.
That's a wild name.
It is. But oh yeah, I forgot. Well, I'm assuming that means you guys probably didn't have much to say. But just to shout out a couple of the players,
Shout out.
Tommy Dennis was a part of that team. It was a 6-man roster. I think all teams are 6-man rosters. Tommy Dennis, former Serpent, was on that team.
Wait. You can just be sliding that stuff by. He's not coming back next season?
No, he left. He had some disagreements with his role and decided to step away.
Yeah.
But either way, Mike Scalco as well, who runs Selling Nation, which is also another topic that we have for today. A quick hitter for later. Dom Johnson. I'll put all these. I'll try to edit it into them and put all their pictures up there so you guys know who I'm talking about. Alex Sanchez, Brandon Seed, and Danny Moore. So shout out to them for winning Pusu 12. Put Up or Shut Up season 12. I'm assuming you guys don't have much to say or add to that.
Shout out Tommy.
It's really depressing that we never got to use that episode because he was really cool to talk to about this.
Yeah, we're gonna bring TP back for sure, 100%. We're gonna bring TP back.
He deserves it for sure. He sat there for an hour for nothing.
No, and he talked very high level about everything as well.
It was great basketball though.
It was a great conversation.
I'm happy it went well though. Yeah. Do you know how many people entered?
How many teams?
Yeah.
Maybe 8, possibly.
Damn.
Maybe.
That's clean.
I'll to give a little bit more background to it, just so everybody understands what it is. Put Up or Shut Up is a lot different. So it's you actually draft your whole team. So you go in there, you have a captain who names the team or whatever the case is, but you draft your whole team. So the teams aren't like set. The captains are usually set, and they tend to use their same team brand and name for the most part. But the players are always brand new. So even this year, there was a player. His name is Santos. He's a part of the a team that calls themselves Game Time, but he actually got drafted by another team. So Put Up or Shut Up isn't really about like loyalty or anything because they don't really have much of a choice. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was cool. Dom Johnson is definitely raw as hell. So good for him. And yeah, I mean, shout out TP, man. We're gonna have you back, man. I hope you're watching this. If you're watching this, make sure you shoot me a text and be like, "I heard you." All right.
I heard you. Nothing else.
I don't know what it means. Shout
out to TP again, man.
He's in the walls.
On to the next segment, though. On some
this is wild.
On some bigger news, the Florida Basketball Association just recently held a private, closed showcase with Sam Vincent. Sam Vincent is a former NBA champion with the Boston Celtics from the 1986 squad. He connected with the Florida Basketball Association to host a private showcase to see some of our top players. Every team, or at least most teams, brought some of their top talent. Not everybody was able to make it because it was a little bit short notice. And he selected a few players. I still don't have the full list, so I can't really say who he did or did not select because I'm not sure if I'm going to be right or wrong. Okay. But he is going to be selecting a nice squad to bring out there. I think there's two legs to the whole thing. It's like a basketball tournament kind of essentially. So
what about the Stars? Any players?
He was interested in some. I just don't know who he actually reached out to make it happen. So,
Big Birdo.
So I can't confirm nor deny, so I'm not going to look like a dumbass.
Hot
So.
take. Go Berto.
But yeah, the Florida Basketball Association is going to be bringing some players over there. Unfortunately, this is going to be during playoff time, so some teams may end up being depleted.
Oh, man.
Shout out to I hope none of you guys go. I don't mean that.
Unless the players choose to go during the second leg. But on news on top of that, there is a very, very, very small possibility that they will allow me to go there as their official content creator. So I may be going to China for a month. They are still talking about it to see whether or not they can make it work because it's not a part of their budget to make it happen. But you guys are going to have to pod without me. Or
We can bring guests too.
Man.
Like Dirk said,
He's going to tune in first episode, strippers everywhere.
they're going to have to figure out the
I'll
the
take
equipment
this.
though. So.
I'll take all of it.
Oh, yeah, we might be off a month.
But then the problem is, I have to take all my camera stuff though, so that would be an issue.
I think we're going to China.
I really
But listen, bro, like Dirk said, you better learn Chinese. You better learn Chinese, buddy.
I'm definitely
Said
gonna try.
that?
Yeah.
But it's not nothing set in stone though. But they're talking about it. I'm hopeful. Well, fingers crossed. I would love to. I've already talked about it with my wife to figure out whether or not I've talked to them about it too.
That's fine.
To take a personal leave and everything. So we'll see. If they do say yes, I'm still going to think about it a little bit further because it's a lot to commit to. And I'm not convinced that I can, but I'm going to try to really talk it through.
Do you want me to go
You
for
get
you?
paid?
No, it's
I can go for you.
okay.
Contract talks right now are crazy.
I'll
You
ask
get paid.
But yeah, Florida Basketball Association, man, making things happen for a lot of players in the league. And that's really what we're here for, man, to offer these type of opportunities.
Shout out to Sam
Bring me
Vincent,
back some
too.
fake J's, okay?
What'd you
Bring
say?
me back some fake J's.
Oh, I got you, man.
Man.
I got you. I'll make sure not to steal anything, though.
Oh.
Shout out LiAngelo Ball
Shout out LiAngelo
and the UCLA squad.
and Lonzo Ball.
That's a crazy opportunity, though.
Hopefully it works out.
The FBA has been going crazy. The Adidas sponsorship you guys have, the opportunity to play in Key West, the opportunity to go to that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Things are happening in basketball. This is like, I would say that one of the lowest levels, and no offense to you, I know that you take pride in what you do, but I'm saying this is one of the lower levels of basketball. This is where you pay to play in a way. So, I mean, this is phenomenal. There's opportunity here, and it kind of gives those high schoolers back where we're from another opportunity to kind of like, okay, this might be my chance to kind of get out of here because you're going to play in China. China doesn't have we are the resource, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to basketball out there. So, I mean, the NBA is not the final stop, but I think we've had this conversation before. We've said this. NBA should not be your end all. Go play in China. Go play in Spain. They're just as good. Yeah, and you can see the world, bro. It's like you'll learn way more than just being in these borders, and you'll be way more appreciative. And you can also look at the game in different lenses too. And how would someone from Australia look at the game? How would someone from where Luka's at look at the game? So take these opportunities, and I feel like use it to motivate yourself to want to actually. If you want to be in the league, maybe you might have to just pay your dues and rub the right elbows because it might be a little bit of that. So definitely an awesome opportunity. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, and to add to it, they'll be playing CBA and NBL teams, so it's legitimate competition.
That's even tougher.
So they got to show out.
Yeah, they're trying to get Brandon Moss out there as well to be on the team. So yeah, they're trying to compete for real. They were interested in Berto, they were interested in Tim, and they were interested in Rick.
Are you confirming?
No, they were interested. I don't know if they had the conversation yet. I haven't talked to Berto about it yet. But
anybody who knows Berto and also knows Berto when he's younger, he definitely deserves, I feel like, this opportunity if he gets it, for sure. He's a good kid, and
hopefully
he
it works
also loves
out.
it.
It's good, and it's sad. It's a little bittersweet because losing them for the playoffs sucks, but this is an amazing opportunity that cannot be understated.
Yeah.
It is. You never know what you can get out of it. Last time the FBA was able to make something like this happen, it was a Florida flight. They were able to get their team over there to China, and some players got offers and everything. It didn't work out for all of them just because it's a lot to have to commit to.
Move to China, restart your life.
Move to China. You got a family, you got a job. There's so many things going on in life that you really have to consider. But just the fact that the opportunity was there, that's a big thing. So that's what the FBA is all about. They're trying to provide the opportunity. They're trying to give a chance to these guys that deserve it, and all they need to do is show up and do their job. You know what I mean? Come, be the best basketball player you can be, and the FBA will help you get to where you want to be.
That's awesome, man. Shout out to
Happy
FBA.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, for real. That's a good little feel good right there.
Yeah, hopefully it works out for me too. I have my fingers crossed, but if it doesn't, man, I appreciate just the consideration of them even
That's
thinking.
big, bro.
Yeah, even thinking of let's try to see if we can make it happen. But I understand there's so much to it. There's a budget and everything, and there's a financial aspect of it. So and they give housing, flight. You pay a lump sum of money, and then you get your flight, your housing, your 3 meals a day. So transportation to and from the important places. And then you can bring your own money to do your own little extra stuff
You're in
as well.
China. I have a great time in China.
Bro.
I hope that happens.
Just be careful with those 3 meals because you don't know what you might get. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say anything. No, I'm saying, like, they eat different out there, bro. Like,
Oh, they do. Well, I mean, they also have regular places, too.
yeah, I hope so. Pray for you.
China's not like a third world country.
They have the best version of KFC I've ever seen in my life.
I heard Jamaica is.
Yeah, I was about to say
great, yeah.
Jamaica and Trinidad. They have the best.
But that's way off topic. But
Yeah, here we go again.
moving on to the next.
Off-topic pod.
We got wrong one.
Same thing.
We got Caitlin Clark was not selected for the 2024 Olympics.
Before we go real quick, is anybody surprised?
I don't think it's wild. She's a rookie.
Okay.
I think it's super wild.
Why?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Who would she have gotten in over?
Shit, I don't fucking know. Oops.
Because statistically, she's averaging 5.5 turnovers a game. She's averaging 3 fouls a game. She's not shooting.
She could have been over a lot of people because Enrique wasn't even selected.
Which is wild. That is wild. That is
about
wild.
Caitlin Clark.
I think Enrique should have been there, but I don't think there's anyone on the roster that Caitlin should have been over.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's Caitlin Clark. Listen, I'm sorry, but
businessman,
let's go back to the original point that I was trying to make. The report is that they did not select Caitlin Clark because they were afraid of how her fandom was going to react to her playing time, insinuating that there's a lot of talent that will require her to play very minimal minutes, which will result in a large fan base, essentially, bashing USA basketball and all that kind of stuff.
They're so bad. Like,
Yeah,
that was a dumb decision.
That was my thing. They're still gonna bash you for not putting her on the
If
roster.
they don't win, which I know that's highly not going to happen, but if they don't win,
Yeah, USA women's basketball is more dominant than USA men's basketball.
For
They,
sure.
they
Even
haven't
women's
lost.
soccer, too.
They haven't lost since the '90s. I don't think.
yeah. So
We unfortunately have lost multiple times.
At least
Yeah.
3 times.
We lost to Puerto Rico once.
Last couple times. What? Really?
Yeah, USA basketball lost to Puerto Rico a long time ago.
Olympics or FIBA though?
I believe it was FIBA.
Oh, I don't count FIBA.
No, back then we used to stack our FIBA rosters though.
Yeah, even
That
the
makes
FIBA
sense.
rosters were like A+.
I keep sniffling, but either way, to tackle your point, it's Caitlin Clark. Like at the end of the day, are we like? I think it was Gilbert. I watch his podcast all the time, so I use a lot of his
Great
references.
podcast, by the way.
But Gilbert Arena said it himself. Like, are we really? I'm trying to get this off the screen. Are we really trying to promote women's basketball? Or are we just saying we are? You know what I mean? Like, if we're truly trying to take women's basketball to the next level, like this is the moment to do it. You know what I mean? Like Caitlin Clark in the grandest stage of them all, with the entire planet watching her. You know what I mean? Like this is the moment to promote women's basketball. Like if people are watching more now, imagine who's gonna tune in.
It is women's basketball right now.
Like she might not, I get it. She might not get playing time over
That's
anybody.
fine.
That's understandable. But like, put her on the roster, man. Like, let her play 5 to 10 minutes because you're gonna get a lot of views. You're gonna get a lot of attention, and that's what you need. You don't need to win. You were already going to win.
How does that work for the WNBA? Do they pause the season?
No, they're playing. Like, there's games that happen during it. I was looking up the schedule. It's weird how they do that. I still don't.
Everything about WNBA scheduling makes no sense.
Because their season, so they play 35 or 36 games this season, and it ends like early September.
Yeah.
And we're only, like 10 games in? Or a little higher than that. I think 13. How does that work?
I have no clue.
Lost. I didn't know that. That's
Those girls are crazy. Like, I don't know how you play regular season game. I'll look that up.
Okay. I think we should take a back.
Because this is pissing me off.
Oh, we can at least finish the topic, don't you think?
Oh, okay. I just feel like they messed up. I don't really have like a big card ticket. I'm sorry.
Oh.
What
were you looking at?
I'm trying to figure out how this happens because this feels illegal what they're doing. There's no way they're
play
playing both.
Oh.
That was my question. That's where
Don't they get paid to play in the Olympics though?
No, they do not.
I think they do.
I think every Olympic is paid though.
No, they do take a break from July 17th to August 16th. I missed that.
That's a long break.
That's a
whole month. What you said?
Weird.
It's a whole month. That's crazy.
And it's just like, all right, guys, back to action.
But realistically, what other time could they play and still get prime time? Because they play in a lot of NBA arenas.
Yeah, they're not. They're in the NBA season now.
Like, what could
You know that it was reported the WNBA is still gonna finish at a loss this year.
$50 million.
Yeah,
Because they put a lot more money into charters. They put more money into things. But that happens. You lose money before you make money.
yeah, but they haven't made money.
But they've also been around for about 20-something years. So.
Yeah, they have not made money.
The NBA was losing money until Kareem.
Well,
True.
that's true.
And then Kareem after that was Magic. They were losing money.
Yeah, but ultimately, I think they made the wrong decision to not send Caitlin. But I understand the decision at the end of the day from a basketball perspective. I get it. You are right. But if you're not going to send Caitlin, at least send Enrique. Like, what the hell?
Or at least Angel. One of them. One of the people that are like.
No, I don't.
There's no world
know
I think
about-
Angel should
No, I don't know. I don't know about Angel.
I think out of the rookies, Cameron Brake was the only one that I think would have made sense to be there.
Her game is crazy. I just kind of shout out to women's basketball. I just watched her game, bro. She's got sick game.
She
She's
reminds me
like
of
Black
AD.
Divac with blonde hair.
She generally reminds me of AD.
Cameron.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be a topic for later too. But what we're gonna do is go ahead and take an actual quick break. I'm gonna All right, we're back from that commercial break, whatever it was. I guess we'll find out later.
Thank you, editor, for adding that in.
Basic editor.
But let's see what we got on next. We have something about Paul George. Paul George comments on front offices in the NBA. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm still completely confused. So if you want to lead this one off.
It actually kind of ties into what happened. So Paul George went on his podcast to talk about his free agency, and he made a mention.
That's why I'm confused. I don't watch his podcast.
That makes sense. So he made a mention that players talk to each other about GM experiences in front offices. And shortly after...
I saw a snippet of that, yeah.
Shortly after that, it was assumed that it was about Philly, and today Philly just announced that their interest in Paul George is waning. So it looks like, and it makes sense, players talk...
for Jared Moore?
Harden did. Harden and Westbrook were both on the Clippers with him right now.
Oh, and they probably were like, yeah.
Exactly. So I think, based off of his comments, I think that players talk. They talk about their negative experiences with Daryl Morey. You go back to Daryl Morey's history. You go back to the Chris Paul the Chris Paul trade, where he trades him to OKC right after he told him that he was never going to trade him, that he was going to stay in Houston because Chris Paul brought all of his family in. You have James Harden, who calls Daryl Morey a liar in a strip club. I think that players...
This location was not necessary.
Not at all.
It's a strip club.
I
All
think
the strippers.
we need to know, because he's not talking to any NBA players there. He's talking to NBA stars in the future. But it confirms what I think that we all knew, that NBA players, they talk amongst each other, and that's why you see teams not really getting any stars in free agency. And it's most likely because their GMs, their front office, just sucks as people. They're awful people.
Jimmy just hates 76ers, right?
No, Jimmy wanted to stay. That's the worst part.
Okay,
That's a completely different circumstance. Philly messed up there. But
Yeah, I did see he made a comment about how players don't really go to teams because of conversations with GMs and front offices. They really just go because they talk to the player. That, like he was saying, I don't care what Daryl Morey has to say to me to get me here. I'm gonna go to Embiid and be like, do you want me here? Like that's really my concern. Like, do you want me to be here? Like, I'm Paul George. You know what I mean? Like, you're Embiid. If I come here, there's gonna be some sort of adjustment period here. Like, do you want that? Like, and then we got Maxey over here, freaking first time All-Star. Like, so I think I think it's true that they do talk to each other in regards to like their experiences with previous teams. But I think at the end of the day, most players probably just care about the situation that fits me best. Unless it's just like bad reputation, which I think Murray has. But
Absolutely.
I think in most other cases, it's more about just players fitting with each other, which I think is what leads to a lot of teams failing, because I feel like they use too much of that personal aspect of it. Like, I get along with you, you know what I mean? Like, you my dude, you know what I mean? Like, we can go to the strip club, we can go to the bar.
like the Nets.
Yeah, like we can get along, we can be best friends, but like that doesn't necessarily mean maybe we should hop on a team together. You know what I mean? Like that's not how it works.
The team we have right now that are buddies is the Knicks. Like they're real deal friends. Like
Yeah.
And that's like lucky that all their plays all just complement each other.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
And once they get Michael Bridges, that's another complementary piece.
If they get him.
When?
Yeah, I definitely think the front offices, or the reputation of the front office matters for sure.
100%.
Because I can't imagine, it's an easy decision to go play in Philly. I think, Daryl Morey has a pretty terrible reputation. But I've always been on the devil's advocate side of, James Harden isn't exactly
Everybody's
a model citizen. You know what I mean? Like,
Why not?
I mean, he spends a lot of time doing unbasketball related stuff, which does paint a picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's the Kobe mentality. That's the mama mentality. Like, you'll never really see Kobe doing that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, when it's time to win, it's time to win. You know what I mean? Like, you got a whole off season you can worry about going to the strip club and finding.
Not really. Nowadays, not really. You got to start getting ready for the next year.
Yeah, but for the most part, you know what I mean? Like,
you got downtime, more downtime.
Worried about all these IG models, worried about all
Yeah,
these strippers, worried about all these parties, worried about going and hang out with your best bud, little baby. You know what I mean? Like, it does paint a picture, and I'm not trying to say James Harden's one of my favorite players. I'm not trying to say anything bad about him, but it's just realistic. You know what I mean? Like, Daryl Morey likely is to blame for a lot of the reputation, but like, most of it comes from a relationship with James Harden. So, like, there's two common denominators here.
And Westbrook as well.
Yeah, but let's also revisit the fact that James Harden has been the common denominator in the situation, right?
He's deferred to
well,
all of them.
Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook weren't there in Philly. You know what I mean? So, like, it's there has to be some sort of investigation on, Harden. Like, are you telling us the whole truth? Like, is it really just Morey that's...
Are you implying that James Harden would lie?
Oh, of course.
Sure.
100%.
Yeah.
That's not even an implication. I am telling you straight up, I think James Harden is possibly a liar. Like,
Are you calling James Harden a liar?
We are all calling
Yes.
James Harden a liar.
yes, I am.
Personally, though, I mean, obviously, people lie. I agree. I don't think he's lying about this situation. I think everything that happens with Daryl Morey, I think at this point is just true.
No, I don't think he's lying for sure. I'm just saying it's hard to be on one side of it when James Harden's also been following this trend. You know what I mean? So, like, it's hard. Like, can we come to the conclusion that it might be both of them?
Yeah, I just think they got toxic. I don't think they were both getting what they were getting out of the relationship the first time. The first time, they're
It's like Blueface and Krishan. Like, is it really just one of them?
And I just keep hearing about information I don't care about them.
Yeah.
I know more about Krishan accidentally.
Yeah.
That is Morey and Harden right there.
It literally, like, at the beginning, Harden looked like a great pick, and Daryl Morey looked like a genius, right? And now when they go to Philly, it's not the same dynamic because he's already got Embiid, and that's his catalyst. So I think it was a little bit of jealousy from James Harden. I don't think he really wanted to be behind Embiid, and he could have been the leader in that team if he really took advantage of it. But I don't really want to even get on that. I want to go back to the question, like, is it true that players go to teams for other players? I think it's an overall thing, but I do think the biggest to side with Nas, and I hate doing it because there's more examples sometimes. KD is the big example. It was not because of Steve Kerr. It wasn't because the Warriors. It was literally because he plays with Steph, Clay, and Dre. Yeah. My life is going to be way easier. I don't have to be the tough guy. I don't have to be the guy who takes the shots at the end, even though he became that there. Like, he literally had a security blanket like no other player ever had. And also, I think another real quick, kind of manufactured team is Miami Heat. I think they literally said it. We all linked up. They tried to get Melo to come. Melo's like, I'm not taking no damn pay cut. Not getting a chip either ever in your career. But, you know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
It wasn't supposed to be Chris Bosh. It was supposed to be Melo, LeBron, and Dwayne.
It was supposed to be on the Bulls, too.
Yeah. So, like, they talk. Like, what Nas says is true. They talk. But I think it's, like, if you really mess with me as a player, we're going to find a way to make it work. Because Dwayne Wade and LeBron found a way to make it work. Yeah. Steph Curry and KD made it.
And not to be confused, it is an overall picture thing. Of course, there's more considered than just, I'm going to go play with Embiid.
But you got to make it work, and that's hard. That's really hard to win at the highest level, make it work. Like, it doesn't work. And I got to side with Nas on that. Like, you can't just click up with people and not put the work in.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of players understand that. I think a lot of players look at it as he's super talented, I'm super talented.
Let's get it.
We're just going to buckets together. Like, who's going to stop both of us? You guys. You're going to stop both of each other. It's you.
You're guarding Spider-Man meme.
Kyrie, you stopped KD. I do think so.
I think Kyrie was just really young. People forget Kyrie's was really young at the time.
With KD,
Kyrie was only like 2 or 3. That was 2 years ago.
No, but I'm saying
Well,
with KD, the Nets, he was younger. He was like 28, 29, bro. Like he was a little younger, right?
But
Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong.
at that point, he's not young.
if you're saying he's younger than he is today, that is correct.
I was younger yesterday than I am today.
I'm saying. I think he had a lot of growing up to do. We know Kyrie's kind of one of those guys that's a slower cooker when it comes to maturity.
I think Kyrie just finds his powers in conservative states, and that's why it works so well in Ohio, and it works so well in Texas, and New York is just not that.
He should
And I think that's why.
They're gonna let you rock out in New York,
go play in Utah.
Absolutely, the Mormons would love him,
bro.
I've talked
He
to them.
could barely make it a season. He could barely make it a season with Boston. You stick this man in a real racist place, man.
Did you put him in Utah? He's going to talk about John Smith like we've never heard before. We're going to hear about the prophet.
Now I do know who John Smith is.
Exactly.
Because of the last time you mentioned it. This is not the second time you mentioned John Smith.
Well, we're talking about Mormons in Utah. What else are you going to do? And Rudy Gobert's legacy.
So do you
Who's
think?
the best Utah player ever? I'm sorry.
You're going to say Carmelo, but I'm going to say John Stockton. I'm just going
No,
to
I
say
would say John Stockton.
Just say Andre Kirilenko not playing. It's a good one though.
is fair.
But let's get back. I want to get back on topic with what Nas says. Is it the players or is it the GMs? I think we could all take a.
It's overall.
It's the overall, but what really weighs it is fit, and I think players. I think the welcoming of bringing on that challenge. Like, let's do it together.
Yeah, because I think players can trick people. That's why you see like those poison pill contracts where they have trade clauses where if you get traded, you have to pay out. There's a trade kicker. And I think they know they get those because they know that the team they're going to, the GM is kind of an asshole.
I think supporting cast matters too. So I feel like everything matters, but just in the scope of this specific target, I think their player relationship matters more than the GM, unless that GM just has a terrible reputation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which goes back
But
to
like
the
if
player
the GM doesn't have like a terrible reputation, it's like I really don't care who you are. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like how often am I really going to talk to you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know who the GM of the Pacers is.
I forgot. I thought it was Larry Bird for the longest.
No,
It
Larry
was
Bird hasn't
probably
been involved in a
It's
long
been a
time.
minute.
That was from Paul George and them, right? That was
I think so. Yeah, he was.
He constructed that team. Okay.
Great team.
But yeah,
Amazing team.
moving on from that topic, we're going to wrap it up today. We're actually going to bring back our fast break news. We're going to talk about a couple things that happened in the basketball community. We did eliminate a segment from today, so I want to make the last piece of news that I have on here our last segment of the day. Because since we eliminated one, might as well just insert one in there.
Let's do it.
But to get started with our fast break of the day, we're going to have
Fast break.
the Got My 5 League, which is GM5, kicks off July 20th, which is also another league from the fruits of TP's labor. He has his own little basketball company. Well, I'm sorry, that's wrong way to rephrase it. He has a very successful basketball franchise or community, I guess you could say, which he calls THP Project. For those of you who may be interested, I'll put up some information up on the top. And through that, he gets the Got My 5 League, which is kind of self-explanatory. Teams come in with 5 players, and then there's a draft to pick up the rest of your team. And every year you can pick up new players. Players move around very commonly. They play in one location once a week, every week. And it's pretty dope. Last year they played with a shot clock. I believe this year they won't. But it's pretty dope. The team that was up there, I'll put it up there one more time just because I'm going to talk about them. The team that was up there, the Squad X, were the ones who won the championship last year. They're a social media team that tried to start off. I don't know if they're still making efforts to be a social media team, but they were throughout that time last year, and they won the championship because they joined GM5.
Shout out to them.
And I think they're going into their 4th or 5th season. Could be wrong. I could be wrong, but
TP's crazy, man.
Yeah, he has a lot going on.
Much.
Yeah,
he has a lot going on.
Yeah.
He's also an AAU coach as well. But he has a lot going on, man. So y'all check out Got My 5. I'm gonna try. We should actually try to do a live podcast there one day.
I'm down.
I'm down to try out.
Which I don't know what their internet connection is like, but we should definitely try to do a live podcast there if we can. But either way, moving on to the next one, another local league, not a part of TP's product, but I did mention him earlier, Mike Scalco, who was part of the team that won the Put Up or Shut Up tournament that I talked about earlier. He founded the Celebration League, which I believe is a play on the word celebration because I believe he's from Celebration. this could easily be my own assumption and incorrect. So hopefully that is correct. Actually, he's right there. He
just loves celery.
He's a white boy in between the two guys there.
Gotta work on political talk, guys.
Oops. He is the Caucasian fellow. He's a Caucasian fellow. But it is supposed to be fast break. But I'm curious what you guys think about this concept. Celtics Nation is actually hosting tryouts for their All-Star team. They had an All-Star team throughout, I believe, the end of last year. Yeah. And they played against teams. Sometimes they played against All-Star teams from other leagues. Sometimes they just played against teams that were willing to take the offer. And unfortunately, they went 0-3. So they're trying to revamp that All-Star roster. They feel like they could compete better. And they're going to do tryouts for an All-Star team. What do you guys think of that concept?
I guess who decides who makes it to the team for the tryouts? Is it like the commissioner?
I'm not aware, but I think it would be probably they have captains, so I'm assuming it's their committee of captains.
Okay.
I think it's actually kind of interesting. I think it's a fun idea. Personally, I'm not into it. I think, you should get there on merit from everything that you've done in the season.
I agree.
That is a cool idea, though, because some people don't really get the opportunity on the teams that they're on. Some people don't really get to show their real skills. They never get to showcase that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I like that take, by the way. That's a great take.
Shout out, Tyler.
I don't like it personally. I don't like the idea of trying out. You know what I mean? Like it should be a merit thing, but we'll see how it works out. They're trying to get more competitive so they can bring that squad out. They got jerseys and everything. They're trying to bring that squad out to compete against other teams. They hit up the Serpents, but I think it was a time conflict or something. Whatever.
Do you think the FBA would ever be interested in setting up their own all-star team to go against them?
Yeah, we would discuss it for sure. We beat the shit out of them, but yeah, we definitely.
Come on, Celtics Nation.
Yeah.
Keep that energy when you see him on the court.
I will. 100%.
You ever pop out on someone?
I will 100%. Trust me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to stay positive here, but yeah, I don't think there's a lot of local leagues that could put together an all-star team that could beat the FBA's all-star team.
I gotta go with that, man.
Yeah,
some dogs.
Yeah, we're talking about like Berto alone would just they wouldn't be able to stop him. You know what I mean? Like that's.
You hear this? If you watch this video,
you better go try out
him because the FBA
go try out.
Talking pretty mighty over here.
That's neither here nor there, though.
Tommy, go try out.
Moving on to the next quick fast break here. Jeff Van Gundy was hired as the lead assistant coach for the Los Angeles Clippers. He was recently a consultant with the Celtics, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's correct, right?
I think a couple of years ago, though. But yeah, he was.
I think it was recent. I think it was like a year or two ago. Yeah, but it was recent. But yeah, he just got hired as the lead assistant.
Deserves it. Very deserved.
They brought up a good point in again, Gilbert Arenas' podcast. I think we're going to see a lot of big changes from a culture perspective. Coming from that Knicks culture, coming from that Houston Rockets culture, I think we're going to see a lot of big changes from them. So we'll see. Do you think assistant coaching can make a big enough difference for a team?
Absolutely. Mark Jackson get hired?
Because Mark Jackson was not as good as we think that he is at times. I think that we have to come to that conclusion. Okay. Look at the Warriors teams. Very minor changes. Look what happened.
Okay. So back to the Jets. I think this is one of the best hires I've seen in probably the last 5 years.
Hell yeah. For assistant?
For assistant. Yeah, I think this is a great hire. And on top of everything, I think all he does is watch basketball. I think he's always watching every team all the time.
Yeah, what's his job? So.
Yeah, what a nerd.
Yeah, that's great. He gets to see this up close, and on top of everything, man, he's deserving. I think he deserves it. I think he deserves the opportunity. And I know this is a fast break, so I'm gonna keep it real short. I just hope that Tyronn Lue also can grow a lot from this too, because he's an amazing coach.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. You already have a great coach in Tyronn Lue, and he's shown that, and now you're adding in someone extra that, I mean, realistically, he could have been a head coach somewhere. He did get opportunities.
I think he's too outdated to be a head coach. I think it'll be difficult for him to adjust to the new culture. Yeah. But speaking of great coaches, one just recently got fired. The Pistons.
Did you say great?
You don't think he's great?
Monty Williams, I do not think is
Oh,
great.
damn. All right, well, that's not the point of the topic today. But I guess the Pistons agree with you. Pistons fire Monty Williams after 1 year. He had a 5-year deal, which was a very large deal.
75 mil, right?
He had $65 million left in the deal. So
Made $78 million in 1 year.
and he had $20 million left on the Suns deal. So he is making $85 million to
To sit at home.
sit at home and do absolutely nothing.
Well, I mean, he didn't really do anything during the season. They went 0-28 at one point. they broke a record.
I think you should apply for a Pistons job because they're like-minded.
I know that.
Values.
Unlike Monty Williams, I know my limits,
They
and
wanna-
that is it. Honestly, if you offer me $78 million, I'd take it.
I think for a coach who needs, I mean, because one, Monty, we knew it was going to happen. It was a really bad season. Nothing changed from the year prior. It actually got worse.
They won 14 games.
That's what I'm saying. It got worse. So, kind of to talk about the
This is what I thought the Charlotte Bobcats were going to be if they played a whole season. Remember that short season?
Yeah.
They won like 8 games. Yeah. This is what I expected
Winning
them to
percentage was actually worse. That's the crazy part. They were only
be. The
expected.
Pistons percentage was worse?
No, the Hornets.
Oh, really?
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. That was off
No,
topic.
you're good. You're good. I was going to say, I think this vacancy is important. I think this is a very important vacancy. Whether we like it or not, the Detroit Pistons are one of those. It's important. I think it's important for basketball for this team to be good.
I think it's important for an unemployed coach. Yeah.
Of course.
Other than that.
But no. I think basketball in general, basketball's better when the Pistons are good. I think they're one of those teams where, they're historically a historic great team. They're kind of like one of those football teams that, they're good defensively. That's kind of like how we view the Pistons. Like every Piston team we've ever saw is a great defensive team.
But do they have anybody right now that could bring that type of culture here?
No, I
But
actually
I
do
think
think so.
there's building blocks to this. There's a lot of building blocks to this, and I think Cade is a great start.
They also have Trajan. He comes from
Who?
the Pelicans. He's their new GM.
Oh.
And he kind of set. He was an assistant, though. He wasn't the actual GM.
Yeah.
But he did help orchestrate a lot of their offensive side of that team.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the help that they need. I think that they have really good defensive players,
Great individual players.
but they are lazy at times. Like Duran is a great defensive player, but this season you wouldn't think so. He just played awful.
No,
So I
but-
think
but-
they need to set a new culture, and I think letting Trajan pick his next coach, I think is the best bet. Because Monty Williams is on that level of terrorism that I think Doc Rivers is at. 0-28, I think we really have to recognize that. 28 losses in a row.
Yeah.
They were worse than the Wizards at one point.
Yeah, but like,
they
look at
were
the roster.
overall-
Was the roster really meant to win any of those games? Like,
No.
They were not meant to lose 28 in a row, though.
There's got to
That's
be a lot. That team's definitely got to revamp. There's got to be a lot of trades, a lot of young players that they can still, assets that they can still receive picks for.
They have to get rid of Wiseman. I really do think so.
Wiseman's just got to go to China. But, no, honestly, no. That's a hot take. I think Wiseman can go to a decent team and contribute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Off the bench. You just don't need it on this team right now.
And then is Marvin Bagley still on that Detroit team?
no.
No? Where he's with who is he with?
No clue.
No clue. Me
I
neither.
forgot.
I think he's with the Kings. I don't know.
I actually think he is on the Pistons.
He is on the Pistons, I think.
No, he got traded at the deadline.
He did?
I don't know where, though.
That's neither here or there. I think they have a lot of. What I'm saying is they have a lot of pieces to make moves. They have the cap space. It's just about getting someone in that position. And what kind of coach would you guys want for the What are we having an inspirational?
I would
coach,
love Kenny
motivational?
Atkinson for them.
Yeah.
A great guy who's good at developing young talent, and then they can figure it out from there afterwards.
Pretty much get rid of
I don't
him
think
for
he
that.
stays there. I don't think he
Yeah.
stays.
They need a culture starter. They need, I think, someone like Stan Van Gundy was that type of coach where he was a culture starter.
Did he
but
coach there?
He did coach once there already.
Yeah.
That was a different stint. But either way, I'm not saying hire him. I'm just saying that's a type of culture
vibe.
starter that you
Yeah.
want. You want somebody who does a good job with young players to set them straight, get them going in the right direction. Probably have 2 or 3 losing seasons, get fired for the next coach that's going to finally turn us around.
Yeah.
After
Which will
we
be JJ
finally
Redick.
learn, what it takes to win. But
Losing all the time.
yeah, exactly.
That's
So
crazy.
You do have to lose to win.
aside from that, next up we got the Pacers are planning on offering Siakam the max.
Deserved.
Pretty quick on this one. What do you guys think?
I don't think it's deserved, but there's nothing else that they can do. They're near the cap already, and they gave up too much.
Eastern
to
Conference Finals. He averaged the most points on the team. He had a great season. I think when the money's there, and he's not even getting paid. Not even percentage of the top tier guys are really making. So I think it's not a bad contract for them, especially when this new, contract gets signed for he'll be like what, maybe a 15 top type of.
He's not far off though because he meets a lot of criteria for bigger contracts.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
He does more than one thing good. So I think
that's an odd choice, but I think he's a good fit for them.
Yeah,
personally, I think a lot of people had doubts about the fit because of certain instances, but I just feel like overall he makes sense for the team. It's just about making them fit together.
Yeah.
If they're not going to look perfect at first, he's got to figure it out. They got to figure it out, and
they did.
Regardless, they need more stuff to really compete consistently. But this is a good start. This is a good step in the right direction.
How do you feel about the contract though?
It's worth it. It's not a big contract.
Way too much. They're gonna regret it by year 2 for sure. But either way, that's how it happens, and maybe they don't. You know what I mean? Like the Celtics didn't. You know what I mean? Like I would have said the same thing about the Celtics and given Jaylen Brown all that money.
I did say that. All of us did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Probably don't regret it now. You know what I mean? So you never know.
Now they gotta pay the worst one even more.
On to the next one. Cameron Brink was escorted out of a game. Not escorted. I'm sorry. Was carried out of the game or what? I can't see what it is.
No, she's carried out.
Exits with a leg injury. This is a little outdated. I've already found out that she actually did tear her ACL. So Cameron Brink was my favorite rookie by default. I'm a Los Angeles Sparks
also mine.
fan.
I'm not even a Sparks fan
because I'm a Lakers fan. But I love Cameron Brink's game. She's like a dog type of player. She great rebounder, great shot blocker, and definitely had the opportunity to make a difference in LA. So very unfortunate for her, but I'm sure she'll come back bigger, stronger,
She's top
better.
2 in blocks for a rookie. That's crazy.
Was she by Alyssa Thomas? Was she at her Thomas? That's what I saw.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was against Connecticut, so it has to. I think she might have been.
Alyssa Thomas is out here just terrorizing these rookies.
She's MVP most likely. So yeah.
But real quick,
I actually have something to talk about with that.
Cameron Brink. I just want to share I love you. Also as well, women NBA in general. Like it's been exciting. I've caught truly.
It's pretty dope. Where is it? Right here. Right there. This thing's pretty dope.
Okay.
I've seen a ton of WNBA games.
Yeah, I watched a couple, bro. And that's the first time I can say in my life that I actually was tuning in.
Yeah.
Like, I have now tuned into a women's NBA game in my life.
I spent the last 3 years trying to get my girlfriend into NBA games, and she added a W to it, so that's all.
All right, well, what's next? We got Alyssa Thomas and is it Dewana Bonner?
Dewana Bonner. This is
Dewana Bonner. Are they engaged or married? I believe they're engaged, right?
Engaged. They're soon to be married. Dewana Bonner is like top 4 in top four in scoring too. And Alyssa Thomas is about to be MVP most likely.
Really?
You think so?
You want to know a crazy thing about this? Really
I think they only lost 1 game, right?
Yeah, they only just recently lost it. You know what the crazy part of Dewana Bonner is? This is not the first time she's married one of her teammates.
Yeah,
crazy.
I've heard that. Yeah,
that is crazy. But that's like next level, like.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna add this as a topic for next week because I have a couple intricate ideas or not.
How does that
not
work
ideas.
With team dynamic.
Yeah,
well,
that's
what if LeBron and AD got married? That's my what if.
Let's save that for next week.
That's my what if.
Moving on to the next topic, we have Alex Caruso, which was actually just announced today, a couple hours before we started recording. Alex Caruso has been traded to the OKC Thunder for Josh Giddey. My good pal here to my left has an interesting take that I disagree with, and I've been waiting to say it here. I think it's a great trade for OKC for sure. You have an opinion about the Bulls side of this?
Yeah, I love it. So to make this trade, first of all, the Bulls did not have to give him any picks. This was a straight 1-for-1 swap. So this Caruso for Giddey. I mean, the Bulls need to start a rebuild. They're most likely about to pay DeRozan a ridiculous contract. So I think that them deciding to do this is them pulling the plug on trying to compete again for a playing spot for the 3rd year in a row. This is perfect for them. Giddey is a great player. I don't care what anybody says. Giddey had a terrible year this year. He was accused of all the pedophilia allegations and everything, which turned out not to be true. It hampered him. He shot much worse. So I think now he's going to be able to figure everything out this season, start off somewhere brand new with a team that does not already have, this point guard who needs the ball in his hands at all times. I think it's great for them. And he's really young.
Yeah, I think he's a great player. I think I don't know if he's a great rebuilding block because I just don't feel like you can really move forward with him long term. I think he's just a piece to have right now, and then end up shipping him off somewhere else. But I think he'll have a better season in Chicago, because I think it was mental. I agree. People disagree with me,
100%.
but I think it was mental. I think he went through so much allegations and backlash and all that kind of stuff. It kind of just messed him up. And he was a great player last year. Why are we just going to change our mind just because it's part of basketball? Mental health is a real thing, and we freaking dragged him through the mud. So like that's going to hurt him. So.
I think it's good to I think it's good for him. Number one, it's a refresh. It's a reset. I'm in a new city. I can rebrand. And then for OKC, you're just adding a veteran who's won a championship. We're forgetting. I think, did Alex win a championship? Yeah, Alex Caruso won a championship. And on top of that, he's arguably known as a top 5, dog. He's one of those dog players, like in the Drew Holiday.
He's a discount Drew Holiday, too.
Yeah.
He's
100%.
he's right there.
A better version of Payne Pritchard, I would say. No, I'm playing.
Payne Pritchard's a dog. We don't take any Payne Pritchard. We don't take any of that.
But I was gonna say, like,
it's a great pickup.
Yeah, sure. it's gonna give him more. Like, imagine like you got a lineup with Shea, Lou Dort, and Alex Caruso on the court. Like you got like some dogs on defense.
You're forgetting also Jalen Williams is not a bad defender, and if they manage to get past them and they're going to attack the rim, they have Chet Holmgren.
And on top of that, they're trying to get Isaiah Hartenstein too.
Yeah, you're not getting a rebound on that team again.
Ever. So, but to kind of make it short for OKC, I think OKC is headed in the right direction, and I think they know what needs to be added in its veterans. I think the last thing that needs to happen with them is, like I said, like we have one veteran. I think they need one more, like guy who's been there. Maybe he can be off the bench too, someone who can kind of be more of a bench whisperer. But I think that's what they're missing, a bench whisperer.
Somebody who's up there could definitely help them. That's not on a
it's not a court
contract.
thing. It's a mental thing. Someone who can get into those mental things. I think they could have beat OKC if they would have had an older player that can tell them, hey, this happens. Let's go ahead and move forward to the next play, and keep them locked in. That's one thing because they're real young, man. You need a tutor. You need a dad on the team. You need a Udonis Haslem.
Shea was the oldest player on the roster. Not on the roster, but in the starting 5.
100% right. Yeah.
And he's young.
Yeah, they need some vets. They need some dogs. They have a great core. I think this is a great addition. I think this is a great start to move in the right direction. I mean, they went to the second round. You know what I mean? Like they already had best seed in the West. They already had a great season.
They lost to the champions.
Yeah, the champions of the West. Yeah,
my bad.
Of the West. It's all good.
Yeah, whoops.
They lost to the champions of the West.
I don't know why I thought the Mavs were the champions for a second.
Well, last but not least, our last piece of news for today, man. Have you guys ever heard of Coachella?
Yeah.
Coachella.
Yeah.
Well, Kendrick Lamar just hosted Hatechella.
Kenchella.
Kenchella. Coach Kendrick Lamar.
When was the last time you really popped out on someone?
NBA stars joined Kendrick Lamar on stage for his amazing Juneteenth concert that he hosted. I believe it was yesterday, right? Juneteenth was yesterday.
They have Draymond. I didn't notice that.
I don't see
You see the
Draymond.
multicolored hair right there? The clown?
Okay.
I want no beef with you, Draymond. I want you on the show one day.
You're going to punch me.
Yeah, but I heard somebody said, I saw a comment that said this was We Are the hate version of We Are the World.
They played Not Like Us 6 times.
Bro,
five.
in a row.
Five.
In a row.
Yeah, 5.
In a row.
It was 6.
No, it was 5. It was 5.
It was 5.
It was 5.
I forgot you were
But
watching.
every time it was a different sequence. Like, they came out on, like, I think, was it like the third or second time they came out? And it's like he kept adding layers to, like, how much we hate Drake. And it was.
When he played Euphoria, I loved it.
But it wasn't a we thing, though. It was like it's not like everybody
It's
on
more
there
of a
saying.
West Coast thing than it is.
No, I don't think the group hates Drake.
Because I don't think DeMar hates him. They both Toronto connection.
Yeah, I don't think the group hates Drake. I think it's just it's created this West Coast vibe to it. It's like this is the anthem now. You know what I mean? Like they not like us. I feel like Kendrick has turned this into like we're starting to forget that it's a Drake and now it's like a West Coast
This
anthem.
is the new California Love.
No, this is not the West. This is
No,
the
like
summer song.
I feel that for real. I feel that for real.
Perfect beat for it. It's Kendrick. He's LA.
Summer song. It's a summer song. It's got that. Like even when you hear it, that beginning of it, bro, you just already like.
This is the only song where I have rhythm. I have no rhythm in any other song.
But it makes you want to dance. Any song that makes you want to dance, whether it's rap, R&B, anything, bro, it's a good
It just
song.
makes me want to pop out on someone.
Show it.
But like, did he really have to play this 5 times though? That's crazy.
It's the song.
You
of
can
the
never
summer.
convince me that Kendrick Lamar is not the biggest hater we've ever seen in my life.
No, he is.
I hate the way you talk. I hate the way you. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I just want to take one big thing from this, bro. Like this whole thing. It's been a while since I've seen like an NBA athletes all click up in the summer and like hang out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, everybody was there. You got LeBron, Kobe
I heard
Bryant.
LeBron's wife
Bro,
said,
you know who else you had?
supposed to be there.
Dalen Terry. Who the fuck is Dalen Terry?
Who is Dalen Terry?
Exactly, he's on the Bulls.
What the
Kobe White's not even from California, and he was there. He's from North Carolina.
DeMar probably bought the squad out. That's
Yeah.
probably what it was.
DeMar.
I saw Vucevic in the crowd. I was
said
like,
Hopkins?
Are you serious?
No.
Oh, I would have lost my shit. I would have looked at that clip and made her put on a shirt.
You're not gonna miss him.
Oh man. Yeah, but that was crazy though. Like, yeah, you got DeMar, Westbrook, Harden. It was a bunch.
Even rappers, YG was there, which is actually pretty surprising.
Mustard was there. What's his name? DJ Mustard.
I heard there's conflict between YG and Drake. I think. I could be wrong though. I
don't know, but
Well, apparently I've learned this year that Drake has conflict with everybody.
My favorite hip hop song of all time is YG featuring Drake. That is my favorite hip hop song. Who Do You Love? That is my favorite.
Love. That's a classic.
I don't know. It is one of those songs. It's just a bias thing. Like it's something about that song just hit at the right time for me, and like I just
Summer song too.
like I don't know what it
It was
was.
2016, wasn't it?
It was my most played song in Apple
year of
Music
music.
for
I believe it.
that whole year. I love that song. It's my favorite hip hop song of all time.
That's dope. That's a dope song though. That's a dope song.
So I hope they're not beefing. So,
Yeah.
but either way, yeah, I don't think it was like a beef thing. Like I don't think everybody was on there just to say like we are on your side.
'Cause I
It's
don't
just
think Tyler Creator hates Drake. I don't think
Yeah,
Tyler
that-
Creator hates anybody.
yeah,
was
Tyler
there.
Creator was there.
He
Yeah,
performed.
Okay. Wow.
It was crazy.
So who were the friends? Because I know it said Kenny and friends.
Probably LeBron.
Dr. Dre.
That's why he said Kenny and friends. Those were the friends then.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He had everybody.
It wasn't just the acts. It was like the
It was
names.
the acts. It was the performers. It was the dancers. It was everything.
Yeah, it was a whole big thing.
It was-
You missed that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I missed it. I think it's on Amazon. I believe.
It still is 4 hours.
I'm gonna watch it.
Hours?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it with
Yeah,
Ace.
I'm gonna watch it. Like who else performs other than Tyler? Because I mess with Tyler.
I'm only
That's all I
aware of
remember.
Tyler.
I know Dr. Dre was talking a lot, but I don't know if he ever actually performed.
I ain't trying to listen to that.
I haven't watched the full
There
thing.
was no classic West Coast artist though. I do know that. There was no classic.
He
guys.
was the classic.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
the classic. Yeah. Like there was no like Snoop Dogg or
You
nothing
know who
like
wasn't
that.
there? Who was like one of the biggest West
J
Coast
Rock
legends?
was there. J Rock was there.
Oh, I like J Rock, but you know the game wasn't there.
He wasn't.
Well, we don't know because we haven't seen everyone yet, so he could be.
I'm
I
gonna
think-
watch
also,
it.
Who's the fuck? Who's game? The game's
Oh,
gone.
you're tripping. That's one of the biggest.
He absolutely
West
was.
Coast.
Was.
No, he's still influential, bro. When you talk about West Coast, you got to throw the game in there.
I don't think people talk about the game like that anymore, though. That's what I'm saying. Like he's
He's like Rick Ross. He's the Rick Ross of the West Coast.
exactly. I agree with
Yeah.
that. I agree with that. That's exactly what I was getting at.
Is that good? Is that good? That hip hop analysis.
That's exactly what I was getting at. Who the fuck is Rick Ross?
Whoa.
But that's it that we have for today. Last but not least, for those of you who are tuning in, man, for those of you who want to support and follow us throughout our journey, we just started or kind of revived a Discord group that I had in the past, back when my company was still called Hooper's Digest. For any of you who were following from back in those days,
Shout out.
I revamped it, edited it as much as I could. I think everything should be up to date when it comes to names and logos and everything. But if you guys want the link, we're going to put it in the comments section down below. We'll put it up on the screen as well for you guys. Maybe I'll put like a QR code or something. I learned how to do QR codes, by the way.
That's fire.
Shout out.
I'll probably put up
Wow.
like a QR code so you guys can click the link and join. We're gonna have there's a lot of things on there. There's a sports betting section. There's a hoop run section. There's going to be a regular just hoop talk section.
The Tyler
We can even
Montes
do
fan page.
there's a voice channel as well where we can just get on there and everybody just talk shit about basketball.
Real quick, also, I want to shout out Tyler's girl. Because we're also, I mean, no offense, I'm not trying to throw your business out there. But we're going to have a lot more shorts as well that you guys can catch on YouTube.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good, and they're actually detailed well. And, you know, we got some help on our.
It's going to be a
Yeah,
mix of
shout out.
content. So it's going to be. Oh, okay.
No, go ahead.
No, this is
It's
you.
going to be a mix of content. Right now, you're seeing the shorts are specifically, other pieces of content like NBA Finals and stuff. But as we get more videos, as we get more topics about, like we've already had the Caitlin Clark short, there's going to be more shorts, easier content to consume if you don't want to watch full hour.
That's
Again.
great. Yeah, so I mean, we got the Discord, man. We got new content coming out. Thanks to Noah. We got a lot going on, man. But that's our episode for today. That is episode 8 of Hoop Talk. We're actually planning on hosting a live episode for episode 10. I think that's our first miniature milestone. So we're going to try our best to host a live episode 10. We don't know we don't know what that's going to look like, but we're going to plan it out. It's going to be live, no editing, just raw, uncut. If we got to take a bathroom break, y'all going to watch the screen.
We're going to bring the camera with us.
No, we're not going to do that.
we want to interact, right? So we're probably going to try to figure out a way, a chat box too. So if you guys can go in there, give us questions. We'll try to dedicate some type of kind of like a OnlyFans kind of question type of thing that they do on Bills. Because you give us our gears to keep going, and we can just talk about more shit.
I have a way I can think of doing that, I believe.
You can also do it in Discord. You can do it in Discord.
Yeah, we can do Discord too, but either way, man, that's what's coming up, man. That's it for us. Episode 8, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, please subscribe, like, share, comment, do whatever you got to do to spread the word, do whatever you got to do to help us explode, man. And everybody's joining us in this journey, and we appreciate it. We love y'all for tuning in every single time we have an episode. Might not be consistent, but y'all consistently tuning in. That's all we love. So that's all we got for today, man. Check it up. Let's HoopTalk next week.